I wonder if Gabe Kapler, who joins us now, the manager of the San Francisco Giants, could have expected anything like this when the year started. Skip, first of all, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to catch up with you, and congratulations. I got to wonder if you've had a moment to reflect on this, because I know you're a confident person. I know the organization has been confident in its process. But there's no way that y'all saw this coming this year. So how did this all feel?
First of all, Mark, Dan, good to talk to you guys. I'm glad to be here with you. I was just thinking back to spring training this year and kind of listening to Buster and both Brandon, Evan Longoria, Kevin Gosman, and others talk about what they wanted to accomplish this season. There was no interest in kind of sneaking into the postseason as a wild card team, and I just don't think anybody wanted to set their sights on that. So our veteran players really set the tone and felt like they could have big-time resurgent years, and they did, and that we had enough young players to fill in the gaps, as well as some young bullpen arms that could establish themselves this season. But the vision was there, and so our coaching staff sort of got behind the players and made that the goal to win the National League West. And obviously, nobody predicts stuff like that, but what you do is you believe in the players, and when they say, we think we can do it, you do everything you possibly can to support that vision.
And it took 107 wins, Skip. It wasn't like, you could grind it out with a 90 and 72, a good year, but 107 wins. How do you go from spring training all the way through October, keeping everyone involved and telling everyone their role and making sure that on game day you've got all 25 guys up and ready to contribute?
I think perhaps not enough has been made of kind of the workmanlike, teammate-first mentality of this club. And I think the first thing to point out is that from Brandon and Buster, like, these guys have been there. They've been through the biggest moments in Giants history. And so when things got tough this season, they really set the tone, not getting too high or too low. So we kind of had an even keel, steady bunch all the way through. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't intensity. Our players came to work every day and practiced at a high level to prepare for the game. They were primed for the game, and then they just kind of knew they had been there before, and they let their talent come out, and they allowed their athleticism to come out, and it came out in the biggest moments. And then we were very consistent with that, month in and month out. And I think the numbers, both the performance of the individual players and the performance of our club, reflect that consistency.
So this is really feeling like an established moment for you. You got the contract extension, you're manager of the year, you're going to be here for a while. So I feel like we should kind of take the next step. I want to know, just for the purposes of this and future conversations, do you like Gabe? Do you like Skip? Do you want to go off the board? What do you like here?
You know what? When I talk to a new player and he calls me Skip, that's totally fine. I usually move right to Cap. It's
okay.
A nickname that I've always had. It was my grandfather's nickname, and so I'm really good with Cap, with Skip, with Gabe. My mom calls me Gabriel. If you guys want to go there, that's totally fine. Whatever. It doesn't really matter to me all that much.
All right. Well, we'll save that one for your mom, and I'll go with Cap. So Cap, here's the next one, which is, we talk so much about expectations not being there this year from outside. And that has a lot to do, as you know, with why you just won Manager of the Year. But you don't get that next year. Now expectations will be there. So how does that dynamic change things for you guys going forward?
You know what? Expectations are not about what you did last year, generally speaking, although that matters. Usually expectations are about rosters, what do people think of the roster? So let's take the Giants completely out of the equation. Every team is going to spend their offseason constructing the best possible roster for the 2022 campaign. And then, everybody's talked a lot about PECOTA projections, and those rosters will be plugged into a formula that kind of spits out a number of wins that team should have. And sometimes that's sort of what sets expectations. Now, I will say this, and taking a step back, I think, our fans fans in San Francisco and in the Bay really enjoyed this season. I think that it was a ride that people didn't really expect to go on. And I do think going forward, folks in San Francisco and our fans who are so remarkable this year are going to get behind that and be looking for that sort of ride. So that will kind of raise expectations, the bar for us. And I think we're all pretty excited about doing everything we can to step up and meet that bar.
Fans are also very excited coming off of last year, but a little bit melancholy too because it's the end of the Buster Posey era, 12 years with the club, and now you need a new player in the squad. You need new leadership in the clubhouse. What do you do organizationally to go forward and replace not only Buster on the field, but Buster in the organization?
That's a great point. It's impossible. Like nobody's going to fill Buster Posey's shoes in the way that nobody's going to fill Bruce Bochy's shoes. So I don't think we're going to be able to replace the production that Buster brought between the lines at the catcher position. I think we're going to do our best to put two great game callers out there that can really manage a pitching staff and can give us quality at bats and in the batter's box, and we're going to do everything we can on that front. There are other ways to cover production. It doesn't have to be from the same position. Sometimes you can get production from other positions. From a leadership in the clubhouse standpoint, Buster is one of a kind. So I don't think you go out saying, "Hey, let's see who can be like Buster in the clubhouse." No, I think everybody has to kind of be themselves, but also be looking for ways to support our teammates, and then also to be challenging our teammates and raising the bar for them, asking for more from them, which is something that Buster did really well. But we really shouldn't try to go out and say, like, how can we fill Buster's shoes? That's not going to happen.
The National League Manager of the Year, Gabe Kapler, is with us on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. Cap, I wonder if you view this as a strength or a weakness, maybe somewhere in between. You guys have so many free agents. There's a ton of financial flexibility. Farhan's really good with his whole team at building a roster. However, there is the drumbeat of the possible lockout December 1st, meaning the clock is ticking and then you don't know when you'll be able to start building again. How does the team approach an offseason like this?
I don't think it's necessarily unique to the Giants, but I do think teams are working fast. I don't think that's I don't think that's a secret. You're seeing guys start to come off the board, but these are questions that are best suited for front office. It's just to kind of create a little bit of a separation. Field staff really responsible for. And obviously, I have conversations have conversations with Scott Harris, our GM, about the players that we bring in, and I really appreciate the opportunity to weigh in on those decisions. And at the same time, I recognize that whatever roster we have when we get to spring training, our job, and between now and spring training, our job is to get the best out of that roster. So, don't want to get too detailed into what's going on here in the off season, and just say the job of a major league manager and a coaching staff is to get the best out of players, and we'll be looking forward to doing just that.
Part of the bittersweet nature of the offseason for you has got to be the coaching staff changes. You've had a couple coaches get hired. Ron Wotus retires. How rewarding is it for you? And also a little bit, I guess, melancholy to know that you lose guys because they've done well, but now you have to replace them with fresh bodies.
Yeah, look, we are so happy for Donnie Ecker, by way of example. He's our hitting coach, and now he's going to be the bench coach in Texas. We just want to see our group thrive and achieve all of the things that they want to achieve in their careers. And at the same time, it's very difficult to backfill when one of our important staff members, and they're all important in many ways, we have to backfill. So Pedro Guerrero, one of our new hitting coaches, is going to be on the bench for us. I think one of the things I'm most proud of is that we're now going to have a native Spanish speaker from the Dominican Republic on the bench and being able to communicate in real time with guys like Tyro Estrada and Wilmer Flores and any other native Spanish speakers. Now, Wilmer and Tyro both speak English well, but there's nothing like having somebody communicate with you quickly in your native language in those situations. And that's why I thought it was a really important step to put a native Spanish speaker in the dugout on the hitting coach side.
Gabe Kapler, the National League Manager of the Year, contract extension in the hip pocket. My man, it is so great to have you. Before you run, you got time for a little bit of quick fun on a big finish. Can you do that with us?
Absolutely. I got 3 or 4 more minutes.
Okay.
The precise schedule of Gabe Kapler. Shows up on time and he's out on time. I love it, Cap. Thank you.
There is structure, isn't there? Did the alarm go off at like 6:43? Like how does that work?
I do like using numbers that are not like rounded to the 5 or the 10. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys the next time at like 10:07.
Okay, perfect.
I used to be 3:44, Cap, when I did morning. Exact same thing.
All right, let's do it. It's Gabe Kapler on the big finish. All right, my friend, 2 categories. It's your choice. Do you want to do fun with food or games people play?
Fun with food.
Okay, we knew that. I mean,
Had a feeling.
We always offer it up. All right, so first one, everyone loves to talk about you and steak and red meat. So what is the best red meat to ingest, in your opinion, and how do you like to prepare it?
Yeah, I really like a ribeye and medium rare, maybe a little bit warmer than medium rare because I just like the outside to feel a little bit hot. I like to prepare it in a sous vide and then finish it in a really hot cast iron with just salt and pepper and maybe a little bit of butter to finish.
Just mouth-watering. I don't know if it's your baritone voice or if it's the description of meat, Cap, but the Food Network wants you in a guest spot.
That was good.
That was a perfect answer.
That's my dream job.
Yeah, seriously, I know some people who know some people, Cap. If this manager thing doesn't work out, we got a soft landing spot for you. Question number 2, Cap, and this might be a hard one for you. What was the last dessert you had?
I eat dessert pretty often, actually, so big cheesecake guy, and a cheesecake and a good bitter cup of coffee sounds really nice. I really like gelato. I really like salted caramel gelato. I'm really excited about even talking about it. Those are two of my favorites.
I'm having a hard time not having my mind going other places here. I'm getting very, very, very hungry.
Me too.
Last one, Cap. And this can be just kind of your opinion, but what is one dietary secret you feel others should know?
I think the one that stands out to me is just not eating as often as we do as humans. I think we're just so used to eating throughout the day, and I actually think there might be some value in not eating every day. And so my thought is that your body just tends to reset when you stop eating for a little while. When you're constantly eating, you're also constantly digesting, and I don't think your brain works as well that way. So there's a lot more to that, and maybe we could carve out 10 minutes to talk about that specifically one day. But yeah, that would be the one suggestion that I could make.
That sounds good, Cap. I work with a guy who eats every commercial break. This guy's going to town over here.
Yeah. Gabe and I, we've talked about this enough that I should have taken some of your advice so far. I haven't yet, but there's always tomorrow. Congrats again, Gabe, and thank you so much for coming on.
All right, thanks, fellas. We'll talk to you later.
All right,
Thanks,
there he
Cap.
is. That's Gabe Kapler. Yes, National League Manager of the Year, but also budding Food Network superstar.
Yeah.